Hello everybody, this is Latoya Jackson from LaJar's Boutique, and what we're going to do is do a hair color technique, which is basically we're taking a natural unit that I made and we're going to turn it into jet black. So I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer. I'm going to give you a proper way of how you're supposed to actually do a hair color. So I hope you enjoyed this. Please like and share my video, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. So first what we're going to do is section the hair out into 4 sections, and this is the proper way of sectioning. You want to make sure that you have your water bottle, you have your 4 clips, aluminum foil, your bowl. You're going to actually need your paint, your brush, and you need a wide tooth comb on both sides. You definitely need a whisk as well. What we're going to do is get our Willa. Willa is a good product. You can get this at any of your department stores, which is your beauty supply store. This is the Willa product right here. Now we're going to do the 1N051, which is very dark. It's like a jet black. Blue black is like super black blue, but it gives you a tint of a color. But this is the best to use to get that black hair color that you're asking for. See? So this is what we're using today. We're also going to use a 10 developer, and we're going to do 2 parts of the bottle of the Willa that we're going to actually place into the bowl. So you want to, oh, this is nice and tight. We're going to place that inside the bowl here, which is 1 part of the actual product, and then we're going to do 2 parts of developer. The developer you want to use is 10. And then what we can do to make sure we get the proper measurements is we can fill up the bottle that we did the 1 part of color with the 2 parts of the developer. So that's 1. And then we do it again. So this bottle is pretty much done, which is perfect because I was on my last limb of the 10 developer. So I got a chance to use all of the 10 developer that was in the bottle, which I would have just poured it in there, but I wanted to make sure that I had the accurate measurements for this developer to be actually applied. So it would look like this, basically. Then you want to make sure you clean up your mask because, you know what I'm saying, I want to make sure we keep the area nice and clean. Make sure you wear your gloves. It's very important because you want to protect yourself from any chemicals. You don't want to have chemical exposure. So we're getting rid of the bottles. Now what we're going to do is whip up the 2 parts of the developer and 1 part of the actual color. So once it's wispy, you want to make sure that it gets nice and frothy. I say frothy or nice and frost. So we're doing it like this. And notice it's getting nice and dark. And that's what we want. And we want the elasticity. You see, not that that's called stretching, but see how it's nice and soupy? That's how we want it to look, nice and soupy. So I'm going to place that on my foil. Now what we're going to do now next is we already have it in the 4 sections. We're going to start from the back. The proper way to actually do a hair color is you want to do the 4 corners first. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our brush of color and then we're going to dab it in the midsection of the unit. This way you will make sure that you're actually covering all the hair within that perimeter area when you're actually doing the hair color. So we're going to start off by actually doing the corner spaces first. So even if this was done to a person on their regular head, you want to use protection. You want to put a towel on their neck and all of that because this is a mannequin. I don't have to do that. So that's a process that we can skip because we don't have to do human protection because the simple fact is that we're applying this onto a mannequin. I'm going to do is sit my cup right here so I have more access to where I'm actually getting ready to apply the color. So what I'm going to do is go down. I'm going to pull this to the front. And this is where you want to have your extra clips and things like that. So you can clip the hair up properly. Now, since this is one color, which is pretty awesome, we can just basically run it through. You're going to place your hand like this. You're going to actually glide it through the hair in an evenly fashion to make sure you saturate the whole thing. And that's nice and saturated. Then you're just going to keep going until you get to the next. You want to make sure that you give that even saturation. There's no rush because you want to make sure it's done properly. So we're just going to continue to do this throughout the process of getting it done. So you take your finger and you feed it through like so. And then you just go to the next one and the next one and the next one until it's totally saturated and complete. So this is pretty simple. Make sure you get that even saturation, but also we want to make sure this is enough hair color to actually cover. Make sure you don't get it all over the place. That's why I told you to put the foils down. You might make a mistake. So make sure you have a towel around as well. So I'm just running it through. So this is like so dark. It's like jet black dark. And that's what we're looking for. We want it to be as dark as possible. I'm doing my next section. I already did the sides of the unit. I already did the sides. So I can just go ahead and take my color and just get it through. To get it in. Pull through. Feed it down into the unit. Into the hair. And just run it through. Reason why I'm doing one section at a time is because I want to make sure that it has the proper even saturation than normal. I mean, that is normal, basically, the proper saturation within this, the amount of hair that we actually is coloring. That's what we want to do. So once again, I'm taking my color, going right to the area here. If this was a human, you don't go directly on the scalp. You go a little bit off of the scalp because it's a mannequin, and it's not going to do a chemical. It's not going to damage the scalp or anything like that or cause any problems health-wise. You can go to the root part of the track. And we're just pulling that through. Hey, I guess my coffee's here. Now, if I wanted to use a bottle, I could have and saturated it that way, but I just wanted to make sure this is done properly. So we're just going in. I want to make sure I'm using all the product and not wasting it and stuff going down the drain and all that stuff. So I'm actually saturating it this way because that way I know I'm using all my products properly. And I did charge for the hair color, so I want to make sure that that person's getting full saturation of what I'm doing. I'm talking right now. So again, out a little bit, go around the perimeter area like so. Then dabbing. Then going through. Then you're gonna bring that down. Hey honey. Thank you. Oh, you can sit it right there. Thank you, baby. Yeah, leave that there too. Well, you can sit it over there.
Okay.
Thank you, honey. You get me a straw? Yeah, you got me a big straw too. Can you put that in there? There's my husband. He's helping. He's making sure that I get my coffee and everything so that I will be all ready. And I can kiss. Oh, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. My client says she's on her way. She's getting herself together. So it ain't gonna take long to get her all done so we can spend the rest of the day.
Yeah, all of us.
Yes, all of us.
Okay.
Okay. So
How long is it gonna take for her?
an hour and 45 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll run in and do a couple things done. And work
Well then that's gonna be longer. Okay.
Nah.
Well, 2 hours. I said hour 45 minutes. So 2 hours is enough for you?
Yeah.
Then you'll be back in 2 hours?
Yeah, I just gotta grab some stuff. Bring it home.
Okay, honey. See you soon.
Send it to me now.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay, so this has a slight smell to it. The smell is not bad. Hey. Thank you. Okay, so this is you see how this is nice and dark. So it's more darker than what it looks on the camera. So I'm showing you guys this is a lot more darker than what it looks on the camera. So what we're going to do is we're going to separate. Now remember the corners we already saturated, so you don't have to worry about actually doing the corners because the corners are completely saturated on the sides. So we're just focusing on the center part and we're going through each track. This is why I like using the track because it's more, for me, it's more friendlier using, user friendly, should I say. I do have an extra black. Oh, Louis.
Yeah.
Can you do me a favor before you go? I need this bottle. It's really important. I gave you the empty bottle. It's right here. Can you grab me a bottle of this? It's a 10 developer. You know it right there in the USB supply? Here. Jasmine. I need 2 of these. I'll give it back to you. It's like $8. Actually $3.69.
Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
No, yes.
Yes, honey.
Yes, no.
Yes, honey.
Okay.
It's so funny. Okay. So what we're gonna do now is I'm mixing. I need the extra 10 developer because this is obviously not gonna be enough because we're covering more hair. So if you're covering more hair, you wanna make sure you have enough products to do that. Because this, I'm trying to get that jet back look. I don't want it thin. I don't want it looking all transparent. I want the black to be super black, like Elvira black, like Halloween black. That's what we're trying to do. We're gonna get it. So now we go to the next one. And then, so you guys wonder why I always wear black. This is why I always wear black. It's because of this. Because I have to do the hair color and work with hair and stuff. You don't want your nice clothes to get messed up. So the best thing to do is to put on some black. So then if anything do get on your clothes, you can't see it, for one. So this here, we're at the apex area. This is where I put mostly all my products in, like the hair products in and stuff like that. So we're just gonna go along here. Are you? Oh, okay. I'm running out of this.
I'm gonna go down.
Okay, no problem. I was running out of the developer.
Alright, I'll be back.
Okay. So then you just go down to the ends. You just pull it all the way through. Just like so. To the ends. Sometimes you want to do the tips last. Because we're adding a color, we're not actually subtracting from the color. You can go all the way through. So I'm gonna go to the top. And we're just basically doing the next one. So this is actually the proper way to apply a hair color. To give it its nice and evenness. If you're doing a black, you don't have to use foils to do separate in between. But if you're doing like a highlight and you're doing in between, then you want to make sure that you use your foils when you're doing that. So this section is already totally saturated, as you see. Saturated. So now what we're going to do is do the other side. And remember I told you to do the perimeter section first? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to dab along this the section that we're going to do first, because we want to make sure we don't have to be worrying about those edges. So we're going to saturate those first. I'm going to pull that hair out. So what I'm doing is making sure you guys get a better angle. So you have that angle there. There you go. So we're going to actually go in right in here, and we're just going to saturate that center area. And this is how you would do it properly on a client that is a regular person besides an actual mannequin. So this is just a proper way of doing it. So I'm making sure I get all the way around the perimeter to make sure I cover every area that I'm going to be doing. Now, if you get a mess on the floor, which I do have a mat on the floor, rubbing alcohol is a good product, because rubbing alcohol actually gets up hair color. So if you guys didn't know that, rubbing alcohol gets up hair color. But my floor is a wood floor, so therefore I can use a towel and just wipe it right up, so it won't have a problem. All right. So remember I told you to use your clips. Then we're here again. We're going to take that black and we're just going to run it through. Just like that, see? And we're running through. Just like so. Then we'll just go to the next one. I'm doing the rolls because I want to make sure each area is saturated properly and it's not no areas that are not. So we want to make sure we have good coverage is what I'm basically making sure that we have. It's good coverage. So I will be transitioning over to YouTube. Yeah, so that's why I'm recording this one right here, so it can be saved onto the YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and check it out, you can. So I see an area I need to actually cover, which is right where that bend is, which is fine, right in the corner here. Placing my hand under there. Now we're just going to glide that color down into, we're feeding it into there. Now the longer the hair, it's usually, it costs more because you have to use more color. But since this is a solid black, and this is a new client, I decided just to charge for the one color. It's not like it's several different colors. Then we'll just keep going to the next one. And this is a next track area that I'm doing. Also, you can, if it's already in bundles and you're going to do black, You can also color the bundles, but to me, this is more personable to do it this way. It's probably easy way you can just dip it in some black and roll it around or whatever. If you want to do it the lazy way, but this way for me it feels more professional and it's more personable. So that's why I do it this way. Because even though it's not on the client's head, you still want to treat it like it is. So I treat all the units like they're actually the client's hair that's actually on their head. That's how I have to look at it. It's probably weird or different to everybody else, but that's the way I look at the hair, as it's their own. So I color it, wash it. I do all of that process like it's their own, unless I take it off of the mannequin and then I'm placing it in the sink. But it's cool. You can get your hair colored and styled. You don't even have to be here. That's a pretty good thing. So we're almost done. See, this takes time. I know Facebook attention span is not that good, because I know it's a process and people got things to do, so they can't be on here all day watching a hair color. So that's why I'm switching over to YouTube. So then that way you guys can come back and look at it anytime you want, and you're actually getting to see the process unfolds. So now I'm pulling from the sides, which is basically the one bundle, the one section that I already had on the top. I'm pulling from that up there. Then we're just basically, I'm dabbing it, making sure I'm going all in the creases and stuff like that. And then we are basically doing that hair color. To me, this is really relaxing. Then we're going to make sure we gather the rest of the hair versus this section here. And we're just going to continue to do this all the way to the top until you run out of developer. I got some coming. So we will take a break and we will be back after these messages, should I say. I'm just kidding. We'll be back in a minute after I get done with this last bowl. I didn't wear my iPhone watch because it's white and I'm doing black. So I didn't want to do that. Thank you. So I decided to not wear my iPhone watch because I didn't want to get this black hair color on my watch. And also my nails, I just had them done yesterday. And I didn't want to get my nails jacked up. So I need to make sure I pull back on the gloves a little bit so it has less tension. Yesterday, we went to go see the movie It, and it was scary. But it was good, you know. The old lady was a trip, but I'm not going to tell y'all. I'm not going to give y'all no spoilers, because you might want to go see it today or something. And I can't wait to see Will Smith's new movie when it comes out. Oh, that one looks like it's going to be real interesting. Sorry about that. I tapped on the deal there. So what I'm doing now is parting. When we get to the top, we're going to do another bottle. We have to mix another color. I might have to do half of that. I don't want to do the whole bottle. But it seems like I may have to, because I did saturate this evenly. The next one I may put in a bottle. I'm not really sure. I just wanted to show you guys a proper way of doing a hair color. If we was doing a color on a regular person, they would have a towel on, of course. So this is like jet black. So that's what they wanted, and that's what they got. They wanted jet black. They got, well, it's a 1N, which is a black, natural black. It's not going to look crazy. So we're running out of hair color. So I have another tube of, I have another amount of the Wella. And the reason why I'm not going all ham crazy because I don't want the lace to get all jacked up either. So I'm going to do that like I would do a natural hair color so that it'll still show the nice part, the center part that I made for this unit. See how nice and saturated this is? And that's how we want it. So we're going to do the next one. Let's see if I can find some tin developer because the fact is I want to get this done. And I did find some tin developer. And I found some satin tin developer, which is awesome. It's right here. My husband went to go get the other one, which is still fine. He can still get that. So we are going to, hey, how you doing? Thank you. So we got our Wella. I'm going to grab my towel because I see a drop of hair color on the floor, which I'm picking up. So remember I told you guys about how much you're supposed to put in the bottle? Okay, and I can't open this because my hands are slippery. So what we're doing is I'm grabbing another thing of the Wella. And then we're going to take our satin, which we can use. We're going to place that in there. Same thing I showed you, two parts of the equal part of the one that we did. So we're going to mix that up. It's a little runny. You know why? Because now I can even put this in a bottle. I can actually put this in a bottle. So we'll do that on this next one. But when we get closer to the perimeter area, we're definitely... Oh, no, it's thickening up. getting through this sucker now. Oh, some jet black. This is definitely black. Now this frontal is going to be a little different, of course. A little similar, but not exact. We're going to make the parts reasonably. Not too super thin. We want to make sure we cover everything. I'm going to use the rest of that black on another unit. So I wasn't really tripping on that because I had used all that product on this mannequin that we're doing. So I'm going to turn her sideways. We're going to about to do the sides. So the same way that we did the back, we're going to do the front. I see a runaway here, so you want to grab it and just run that black through it. So we're going to take this section and I'm going to gently we're going to make sure we get all the baby hairs, because we don't want to have brown baby hairs when we're trying to turn the unit into a black unit, like jet black. So I did do those edges in the front. So here we are right here. Remember I told you we had to do the perimeter first before we even get started on the center part. So I did bring it in, but I'm barely bringing it in around the part because I do not want the part to be jet black. We want to keep that part as natural as possible. So that's why I did that. Hey, so now we're going to do each section. So I'm going to actually pin it back there because the simple fact is it's all going to be black anyway. It doesn't really matter if it's touching right now because it's in the black. And we're just running it through. And then what I'm going to do is lean her head over like so, like this. It's like if you ask your client, you know, hey, can you lean your head over? Same thing. Just leaning and dropping. You're going to go in between each one. Now this one, you want to just go to the, you don't want to touch the lace. So on this one, I'm not touching the lace. I'm actually just going barely to where the lace is. It's going to melt that way anyway when you wash it. You don't want to get it on the lace. Because you want to make it look as real as possible to give you that real effect. So I'm sectioning it out on my lace frontal. Remember, I don't want the color to get on the skin part, where the part that makes it looks like it's real. We're just going barely along the perimeter, just around the rim area of that. And then we're saturating it after that. So we already did the perimeter, so we don't have to do anything going too close to the front, because we took care of the front already. So once again, we are actually applying this. And I did not touch the closure. I mean the frontal. The frontal is not disturbed. And so it looks like this. And it should be like that. So you still can see the parts in there, and it's not looking blotchy, or it's not staining the frontal. Okay, I noticed that this part is driving me nuts. So what I want to do is I'm going to leave it out for right now. This one section right here, I'm going to actually bring it down in the back because it's working my last nerve. So I'm going to actually do the color along this section and get this out of my way. But that's part of the back. And I run the color through. And I'm going to continue to do that. So get that out of my way because it's not on the frontal. And bending that, it was just a pain in my you know what. So I'm just basically moving that out of the way. Pulling it through. And it's done. Okay, so now we're back to the front. Right here, we already did the did the darkener. We just darkened it, put the black in. We added the color already around the perimeter. That way, now we have to do is just work on putting the color in without actually touching the frontal. Where the part is. That part I'm not touching. I can't wait to see what this looks like afterwards. I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. So we're just going to go a little thicker on the slices. Remember I said I do not think some of that color got on my body. If I get it on the floor, I take my towel and I usually, because I'm slanging color everywhere, I'm just going to leave that towel down there. Let's see that part. There's a part right there. So we just go in here, opening it up. Trying to do this slow because I know when I watch the tutorial videos, I'll be like, ah, that was quick. Let me see what I'm doing. And they're not telling you, you know, some of the stuff you're supposed to learn in school anyway. That's why we go to school, get the tuition. We pay thousands of dollars to learn. So they're not going to tell you everything on YouTube. But I think a basic hair color won't kill anybody. You just want to make sure that I am a licensed cosmetologist, so you make sure that you guys don't get the stuff in your eyes and your mouth. Or don't let kids get a hold of the products, because they'll be trying to do their hair color themselves and mess around and get hurt messing with the stuff. Okay, so you just basically do the same thing on the other side, which that's what I'm going to do after I'm done with this. Exactly what I don't want it to do is bleed into the frontal. But when I had to do the perimeter, most of it did just a couple of drops, but that's fine. I can get that out once I wash it, I believe. So this is the process of hair color. If you want me to add a dark color or a light color, I do charge a fee for this. So hair color is definitely not free. So people are like, oh, I spent $700 and I don't know what, and I could have just bought a wig online. Right, that's a machine-made wig, and it's not going to fit your head, and they're not going to customize it on your head after you buy it from them. They'll sell you the wig, but you don't have no type of customization. You still got to go out and get that done. If you want to change the color, you have